So this week, of course, has been crazy here on our campus. I don't know if you know, but we had over 250 children registered for VBS. And if you don't recognize where I am, I'm actually filming this in 37 Lawrence, where 56 fifth and sixth graders have been meeting this past week. Hey, if you're one of our parents who allowed us the privilege of teaching your children and their friends, I just want to say thank you. And if you're one of the over 190 volunteers who did the prep work before or served during this week, and an even bigger thank you. And this Sunday is going to be special for a couple of reasons. First, it's VBS Sunday. So that means we're going to get to see our children as they share a song from VBS and their memory verses, which is all of Psalm 23. So all of that from this past week, it'll be great. The second reason this Sunday is special is because it will be the first Sunday for Matt Missler, our next lead pastor. And as Matt begins, I will ask that you help him out by being prepared to remind him of your name multiple times. I remember when I first came to MCC, it was a huge task to hear and remember so many names. And you already know this, but you're only learning 4 names: Matt, Jenna, Eli, and Asher. But they're going to be hearing close to 1,000 different names. So be prepared to repeat yours. Hey, as we prepare for Matt beginning his ministry with us, I just wanted to give you a general idea of what the transition of leadership this fall will look like. Now, the purpose of the transition is to give Matt time to get up to speed on who we are and why we do what we do, the way we do it. And if you're new to MCC, you kind of have an understanding of what Matt is going to be learning because you're trying to figure that out yourself. And if you've been around MCC for a while, you may not even think about it anymore because you're familiar with how we operate. So for several months, Matt and I are going to be co-lead pastors. That means we're going to be sharing an office and we'll be doing ministry together. And Matt will be meeting people and spending time with staff and leaders to get to know them better, learning our culture and our systems. You know, I appreciate our elders giving Matt this kind of time to do this. Most lead pastors don't have this kind of time. They have to figure it all out very quickly while they're doing the job, and that can just be tricky and actually make it take longer. So let me share a few bullet points with you that I've shared with our staff regarding this transition. The executive leadership team has established a 100-day plan that we will implement as Matt begins, and it will be different. You already know this. Matt and I are not the same person. I'm a little taller. He has a little more hair. Listen, there are other differences you'll pick up on as we move forward, but I want you to be assured that we both love God's church the same and are committed to growing disciples who make disciples. Sometime this fall, I'll be stepping out of my current position. This is somewhat fluid as we finalize the details of the transition and match that up with our church calendar. We're working to be strategic in our transition so that there is no, or at least minimal confusion within our staff or within our congregation. We'll do our best to communicate where we are in the transition. But if you have any questions, please ask. You can ask me, you can ask our elders. We'll be glad to talk to you about that. Oh, and just so you know, our usual vacation schedule calls for Sandy and I to be gone July 25th through August 7th this year. So we'll be on vacation. And I've told Matt and our staff and our elders, I think Matt's going to be great for MCC and our elders and our staff. But just as important, you, our elders and our staff are going to be great for Matt as well. Listen, as I close this chapter of my ministry, I'm looking forward to working with our senior adults on a part-time basis. So if you're 55 years or older, I'm looking forward to you, to all of us, growing as disciples of Jesus, using our experience and skills to serve him together and to be the biggest cheerleaders for our next gen coming behind us in the faith. Rich and I get to share the next 2 messages in our Judges series. Matt will close the series out on August 2nd, and we'll begin our next series on August 9th. So, all right, let's talk about the message for Sunday. You ever feel like life has dealt you nothing but bad luck? This Sunday, I'm continuing our Judges series with the story of Ruth. I was talking to Sandy this week, and she pointed out that Ruth was not one of the judges, and she's right. But Ruth 1:1 will tell you why her story is included in this series. Ruth is a woman who lost everything, but discovered something powerful about God's loving kindness. So from a skydiver falling into fire ants to a widow returning home empty-handed, we're going to explore how God's blessings are often hidden in our hardest moments and how we can position ourselves to receive them. So as we began this series, I wanted to remind us that the period of the judges in Israel's history was largely lawless and brutal. It was dark and evil. And Paul reminds us that we are not told these things just for the sake of knowing history. He tells us when he wrote to the church in Corinth, right, that these things happened to them as examples and were written down as warnings for us on whom the culmination of the ages has come. That's a good reminder that we have warnings from what we read in history. But this weekend, I want to make sure you catch this also. Paul wrote this to the church in Rome. For everything that was written in the past was written to teach us, so that through the endurance taught in the scripture and the encouragement that they provide, we might have hope. So this Sunday, we'll be encouraged by how humility unlocks God's favor, how doing things God's way changes everything, and even the surprise ending of Ruth's and Naomi's story. So if you've ever wondered where God is in your struggles, this weekend, this message is for you. And you can prepare for this weekend by reading Ruth's story in the book of Ruth. So listen, whether you're joining us online or on campus, really looking forward to sharing that with you.